Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I am glad you're here. If you're so inclined and you get the chance, please jump down there and hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out. It helps you guys by being notified, hopefully, if you enjoy the content of when I release new content. And I just really appreciate it. Takes you just a second, doesn't cost a penny. I'd love it if you do it. Today I'm going to be doing my review, 2-week overview of the Jason Grant Gripper V2. And guys, I'm going to put this in the description. This is Jason's Instagram, where I picked up some of these other Jason Grant knives that are made out in California. And this is Jason's website, where you can go pre-order the Grant Tripper now. When the Tripper's fulfilled and it comes in, the pre-orders will go up for the Gripper V2. But I'm going to put this out of frame. I'm going to real quickly just show you what I have gotten off Jason's Instagram that I have bought recently. I've got one more on the way, possibly two. But this is a Jason Grant J-Cal fixed blade and kind of a little mini cleaver Wharncliffe, deep hollow grind. Nice tool steel blade. Nice G10 handles, very nicely done. And then this is my first J-Cal. The handles, as you guys might be able to see here, and I won't spend a ton of time on them, are what really I think make the J-Cal special, because the balance is impeccable. The grip in the hand with the choil that's part of the handle, the full tang feels great. This little guy is a chisel grind. Wickedly sharp, hollow on the front side. Beautiful texture on the blade. Micarta handles with a mosaic pin on the front and a copper or matching lanyard tube on the back for doodads. And then the first thing that attracted me to Jason's fixed blade was when he was first playing around with little designs. He threw this up on Instagram, and he was selling it for anybody who'd take it for 40 bucks. And I grabbed this knife, and this is what got me off to the races with what Jason's doing on fixed blades. This is a little thick as you could want behind the edge, tiny chickadee sized knife with a deep hollow grind that comes down to a wicked edge. I sharpened this edge on my Blitz 360, and guys, I am telling you, it is wicked. And this is just, I said, Jason, what do you want for it? He said, well, I just had some materials laying around the shop and made it. I was goofing around, 40 bucks, and it's got mosaic pins. It is just an art piece. I absolutely love it. So that is my current fixed blade collection, which I'd encourage you guys to go to his Instagram and watch what he's doing every day over there. But what I want to talk about today is the Grant Gripper V2. I've got the Gripper V1. I'm a huge fan of it. I'll bring it out in a second when we do some size comparisons. So when I got an opportunity to check out this Gripper V2, I jumped at the chance. This is one of the best tech prototypes. It's going to come in this finish, and if I'm not mistaken, also the black, like my gripper is. And black's the wrong color, but you know what I'm talking about. And a couple of things that are different besides the size, the way that it locks up, the way that the front flipper is done, and one of my favorite elements, just like on the Tripper, the deployment hole is shaped like a coffin with some nice milling in there, so you can really get in there to flick it. The action is fantastic. It is a smaller, but just by a little bit, knife than the Gripper. It has, for me, a full-size handle. I've got a medium to large size hand, so I can get a full-size grip on the knife using just the handle, or I can choke up and use that choil like I always do. I've got plenty of room there to make safe cuts, to process cardboard, to open boxes. You can hold this knife in so many different types of grips. It really kind of allows itself for any type of work that you want to do. Not to mention, it's a Wicked Wharncliffe, and after studying Michael Janich's evolution of the tactical folder, I think that this would definitely fit into that range. But look at that backspacer, which is 3/4 of a backspacer, almost a full backspacer. And this blade, when I either front flip it or use the regular flipper tab or use the deployment hole, which is how I open it, it locks up perfectly with the backspacer. So not only does it give you, or give me in my hand, a very refined, great grip of a knife, it gives you some of the best lockup I've seen. Now guys, I'm not a knife builder, knife designer. I don't know if you can see that second stop pin down there, but I can tell you this, that when this thing locks up, it sounds like a bank vault. And when you listen to Jason talk about it and you look at the basic mechanics as I understand it, the way this spine of the knife locks in to that secondary stop pin and also catches against that backspacer, gives you a very, very solid lockup. I mean, you've got your frame lock. You can see down in there. Let's see if I could, where did I put my flashlight? There it is. See it locked up down in there? So I was just blown away with the way that that worked. Because at first, one thing you'll have to get used to with this knife, and it didn't take me long at all. And guys, I'll tell you, because I always hear people talk about detents being different and knives feeling different. And when you're kind of like us, knife junkies, and you carry way too many knives on a weekly basis, they're all going to be a little bit different. So it's not uncommon that you kind of have to, if you're used to flipping a knife this way, like my regular gripper, I learned that I had to kind of adjust my flip so that I wouldn't come into contact with that tang. So what I do is I just flip it out. Instead of flipping straight down, which will take me to that backspacer and it's not comfortable anyway, and then it'll slow down my deployment, I just give it a quick little flick out. Take it and pull it away from the knife. And if you look at the way that it's jimped just for that. So instead of pushing straight down, I just pull straight out. And if I want to front flip it, which you guys know how I feel about front flippers, I absolutely hate them. But this one works very, very well. So one of the things I've heard is the front flipper looks so pronounced. Well, it does and it doesn't. If you think of what it's designed for, which is to fill out that backspacer, to me, I think it looks very elegant. I think it looks cool. I am definitely going to get in line to get one. I am a huge fan of the action. I'm a huge fan of the flat grind. I've got the hollow grind on my Gripper V1, but this knife, let me see if I can find. And this knife has been used, guys, not just by me, but by people before me. It's got some snail trails on it. I have not stropped it. I have not sharpened it. And then again, it's a very good piercer. But it is a box murderer. I don't know if y'all have seen or if my unboxings have launched yet, but I've used this knife on several of the unboxings because literally I've carried it for 2 weeks. It's either been in my front right pocket or it's been in my back left pocket, because when I was ready to forward it on to the next fella, Jason said, hey, I really want you to use the knife. I want you to give me some really strong feedback. And guys, the lock bar access is so easy to get to. The action is perfect. The lockup, and you can't hear it probably on my crappy phone. See, I just barely got my finger there. Let's see if you can hear it up here. But anyway, it locks up like a vault. And that's because it's designed to. So I am very, very stoked. And here's the Grant Gripper V1. Again, a knife that I love. When I flick this knife, and if you look at the way that it's set up there, the flipper tab's a little different. I can pull out or I can pull straight back. Because when I pull straight back on this knife, it's an awesome knife, but you'll notice that it doesn't have that second lockup. Again, in any V2, you would hope that the designer, the maker, would make improvements, and I think Jason's pulled that off very well. But when you look at the sizes of these knives, I don't know how many of y'all have had a gripper, and my gripper got an upgrade. God, and I've got to go back and find out who shared. I don't remember if it was Crispy Critter. God, I've got to remember who was kind enough to send me these black pivot collars that I installed to make my gripper more murdered out. But so the Gripper V2, if I'm not mistaken, will be available in this colorway or this colorway or a similar colorway to this. And if you notice, the handle is just a little bit different because it's smaller, so it's a little bit narrower here. The choil is ever so slightly smaller, but not much. So I've had people say, well, the choil on the V1 is just perfect, which the V1 choil is great. I'm telling you, the V2, even though it's a little bit tighter, and I guess if you've got really big sausage fingers, it may be something where the V1 is just a better fit for you. For me, I love the V1, but it is a larger knife. It's one of those knives that I don't get to carry as much as I would like to because it is on that larger size, and I usually carry more of a small or medium size knife. I took that from Christine, where she calls a small and a medium. She mixes them together. But as you can tell, the jimping is more pronounced. I will tell you, it's not more aggressive in terms of biting your finger. Now, I can imagine and I can tell you that it does give you much better traction, but it's not uncomfortable whether you're fidgeting with it, whether you're working with it, whether you're breaking down cardboard. It just feels very substantial in the hand. So that is the Gripper V1, which had the pill-shaped hole, which worked really well. No complaints. The front flipper, to me, I could get, but again, it sat lower in the handle. And again, only because I'm so challenged with the front flipper, with the V2, I don't even have to think about it. And I can do that weird thing where you reach over with your one finger and lock it into place, because it just locks into place. So do a couple of real quick size comparisons. If you don't have a gripper, let's look at it next to the Cold Steel 4MAX. And it's going to be smaller than the Cold Steel 4MAX. Surprise there. And let's look at it next to the Civivi Baby Banter. And it's bigger than the Baby Banter. So let's look at it next to the Benchmade Bug Out. And guys, it's about a ½ inch smaller or bigger than the Bug Out. It's about an inch smaller than the PM2. Let me see if I've got anything in this case that you... Yeah, it's going to be just a little bit bigger, but it's around the same size as the Bug Out. A little bit bigger, a little bit larger than the Brian Brown Jaeger. So since we don't have a direct match there, our blade is right at around 3 1/4 inches. Our cutting edge is just an absolute sconce under 3 inches. Our handle is 4 1/2 inches. Our handle to where the choil terminates is right under 5 inches. The overall knife is 4 1/2 plus 3 1/4. don't know what that is. You guys tell me. Do math. 5.5 plus 3 1/4 is how long this knife is. Which, for me, it's really easy to go. It's that much bigger than 6 inches. Right under 0.16 on our spine. Our handle's right around 1/2 inch. Same size as the original gripper. So the blade stock and the handle thickness is going to be the same. Guys, I really think this knife's going to be a winner. Oh yeah, the pocket clip works very well. I'm wearing khakis. I've worn it with jeans. It goes in and out of the pocket very well, pulls right out even with this frag pattern, and doesn't seem to be giving any extra wear to my pocket. So yeah, I've been totally stoked to try out the Grant Gripper V2, and I'm really excited for the pre-order. And I urge you guys, again, I'll put all Jason's information in the description where you can go check out some of the specs on both the gripper. I don't know if there's information on the website yet on the V2, but it's Instagram. He updates every day with what he's working on. Really neat videos, and you never know. You might see a great deal on a knife that he throws up that you want to jump on, because he puts them up when he makes extras. Guys, I can't tell you how stoked I am for these small J-Cals. These two are actually going to be packaged up this week, and they're going to be put in a box, and they're going to Joe at Lancelot Leather to do Joe things to them. I've told him that all my requirement is kind of an understated, elegant, plain, maybe distressed in the color of his choice. I don't want a lot of like fancy what would you call it, detailing on the sheaths. I just really want them to stand proud with the Lancelot Leather maker's mark. And I want him to make one for my J-Cal, first J-Cal, and then my little J-Cal cleaver. Once I get those done, I hopefully will have another J-Cal in my collection that I'll need to send to him. And at the rate things are going, guys, I might have more than just a few. I've really got to control myself, but they are, for a US made knife, they're a fantastic value. That is 0.18 blade stock. This one's S35VN. It's 0.15. And then the little mystery one that started me down the rabbit hole with Jason on these wonderful little knives is right around 0.18. This is wax paper, guys, and you see how thick that is. But that hollow grind, just great knives, guys. Check out Jason. I appreciate all your time. Please, if you do have the time, hit the subscribe button below. Again, it helps me out. Hopefully helps you guys out. I appreciate the fact that you take the time to come to my channel to see what I'm up to. I'm just stoked to spend time with you guys on live streams. I'm glad that you guys feel the same way and join everybody in the chats. I love you all. I ask that you look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other, guys. Be kind. Move forward with love in your heart. Choose debate over hate. Until we meet again, peace.